Hello, this welcome to Python video series. So I've sent a video to us on how to install Python. But this on Mac OS. I'll be clicking on Anaconda now because I asked us to install Anaconda, and inside Anaconda we'll be making use of Jupyter Notebook. So once I click on Anaconda now, it's going to. I'm waiting for it to load. We can see it now. But on yours, just because, especially anybody using Windows laptop, instead of checking out for Anaconda, you can easily check out for Jupyter Notebook that will be making use. But on Mac OS, there's no way you can check out for Jupyter Notebook without opening Anaconda. So immediately I open Anaconda, it displays something like this. So then I will launch my Jupyter Notebooks, and once it's launched, now, it's going to display inside the web browser. And note that this uh, is not a software whereby you need to be connected, because you get before you use it. It's just like it is going to open in your web browser, but it doesn't require internet to use. So once it displays something like this, you go here, you just click on new. When you click on new, it's going to display Python. Click on Python, and it's going to display something like this. So here, this is just like place where you can rename your, or where you can name your file. You can call it Python practice. That is anything you like. Can you see it appears now? So we have file here whereby you can make a new notebook. If you are not comfortable with this notebook, you can easily create another. This open, you can open file, you can make a copy, you can save as, you can rename, you can save and checkpoint, you can revert to. So you can do all these sorts of things. Then you can edit this, you can cut a cell, probably you don't need a cell. You can copy a cell, you can just play around all these particular icons here. Then you can view, you can toggle head, you can insert. Also you can insert a cells above and below. Just like now, if I click here, I can insert above, and if I click here, I can insert below. That is, I inserted a. Then if I want to, so also you can run a cell. When you type inside those cells, you can run it. You can run all at a time. You can run all above, you can run all below. So all these things are very interesting. Then probably if your environment is having a problem, you can interrupt it, you can restart it, you can restart start and clear all outputs. Especially maybe you are working on something that you want new output, or probably you are making a changes. So you can make use, you can reconnect, you can sort down your kernel, these widgets. You can play around all these icons, and this is just like adding a cells. Also you can cut a cell just like this. I can cut this, just like removing, and I can also add. You can I think this for copying. So you can move around, you can run it like this. Run now, I can just use print hello word. So I can click on run now, it's going to display the code. So these are just what we use in running them, and there are also shortcuts that you can use if you don't want to use this. So in today's video, and don't forget that we started with the data analysis and data science series, and I'm just showing us how to use Python to do data analysis and data science. But before we get there, you have to learn some Python fundamental and Python basics, whereby you tend to interact with some topics before you go in depth to how to use it to analyze data. And in today's video, I have a topic I want to treat with us. So I quickly want to look for where I store it. I'm just showing the environment first. So let me look for the topic. So it's already loading here. I have to, then I want to make use of restart and clear all output, so that I can start everything all over again, because some of this code has an output already. Now all the output is gone. So the first thing I want to say is, okay, what is programming? Because this can be the first time for some hearing what programming is. Programming is a way to instruct the computer to perform various tasks. Anytime you just like computer does not understand human language, and the way you communicate to your computer is by writing a program, and that's how you instruct it. So most of all these software that we build, they are being the way we communicate to the computer is using all this particular programming. And we have different kind of language, just like the way we have different types of language like English, uh, French, Chinese, different kind of language. That's the way we have different kind of programming language here also. So we have like Python, we have Java, we have Ruby, we have Go, we have JavaScript, we have Java, we have Kotlin, we have different kind of language. So here our focus here would be on Python programming language. And what is Python programming language? Python programming language is a high level general purpose programming language. And one of the reason why everybody tends to love this particular language is because it's multi general purpose. That is, if you are a good Python programmer, you can easily adapt to, because Python is used for different kind of things. Like now this class is focused on data analysis. That is, Python can be used to analyze data. Python can be used as a backend language in terms of Flask, Django's, and Fast API. Those are like backend of a website, of probably even they use Python to build e-commerce website. Just like the way I listed the applications of Python programming language, they use them in mobile web development, just like in Django, Flask, Fast API. Then also in game development, you can use Python to develop a game. We also use them in machine learning and artificial intelligence. Look at all these chat GPT. They are just like application of AI, and one of the applications of Python is AI. You can use it for machine learning and AI. You can use it for data science and data visualization, just like the one where we this course is focused on. So we use them for data science and artificial data science and data analysis, just like data visualization. So desktop GUI, you can use it to build a desktop application. We use it for web scraping too, especially if you are hired and a data you want to use to analyze data or to build a machine learning model is not readily available. At times you may be you may be required to scrape a website from a website. And how you can do it, you can easily use Python to scrape to get data from directly from a website. And also building application, business application, you can also use Python to build a business application, audios and video application, card application, embedded application. Also, Python is good in the areas of embedded application. These are various applications of Python. You will see that this language is versatile, is multi-purpose. You can, once you know it, you can easily change. Or data analysis may not be your interest in some years to come, and you can, just because you have the background of Python, you can switch to web development or back-end engineer. So you can focus more on machine learning and AI, artificial intelligence. But just because you have the background of Python, it will be very easy. And also they use it in natural language processing. They use it in computer vision, because those are just like branches of data science and artificial intelligence. We use it for a lot of different amazing things. So Python variable. Variables are containers for storing. Okay, the first aspect is Python variable. What are Python variable? They are just like a containers for storing data value. So what I mean, what does that mean? Variable, just like now. Uh, when you store something inside a container, in a normal general sense, storing something inside a container, when and whenever you call that container, what you store inside it is going to come outside with it. So here too, just like now, A is a container. Here we call this A is a variable name, which is a container, and is equals to Python. this Python is put into a quotation mark because it's a string value. I'm still going to explain what data type it means, just like string, integer, float, or different. We have different kind of data type. I'm going to explain that also. So a now is equals to Python, which is put in quotation mark just because it's a string data type. So a is a container that contains this. When we call back a, just like print a, you are going to see what is going to bring out as output. And also b equals to 40.7 and x equals to 2. So this a b c a b x y, they are containers containing all this value. So when I print out a now, I'm going to get Python. When I print out b, I'm going to get 40.7. When I print out x, I'm going to get 2. When I print is, and the function of print generally is to output uh, a result, like just to print out your desired result. So when I run this, so I click on this run to run what is there. You can see here that our a is the first one which output Python. That is, a is a container that contains Python. B is a container that contains 40.7. You can see just because we assign it. And this equals to, in Python, we call it assignment operator. So x is 2, which is a container that contains 2. Y is 4, which is the container that contains 4. Then print a. So now I don't want to print them together the way I did it here, so I can easily print them out individually. So if I click on this, you can see a give out Python. If I print b, b print out 40. That is, b is a container which is a variable that contains this 40.7. X is 2, which is a container that contains this 2. Print a day here also. Then when I print name, it output a day. That is, name is a container that contains this a day. And you can only do that by using equals to. Don't forget, this equals to, the function is assignment operator. We use it to assign a value to a variable name, which name is a variable name. So we use this to assign this particular value to this variable name, the way we did for other. Then name of student, we use Victor. We assign, so name of student now is now Victor. Name of student is variable name, equals to its assignment operator used to assign this value to this variable name. So also, when anytime you are working with variable names, there is a rules and guideline that will follow, because if you don't follow them, you keep getting error. There is something we call syntax in programming language. So those syntax are something you need to follow anytime you are writing a program, because if you don't follow the syntax, it will be very difficult, or it's going to be giving just like you are going against the rule, and is always going to be giving you an error. So the first rule is variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. You can see that most of what I did here, they all start with letters or underscore, but I did not use underscore, but most of them are letter. Variable name cannot start with a number. You see that most of them, they don't start with number. We have a, b, x, and y, and also we have name. We have name of students, so they cannot start with number, they only start with letter. The variable names can only contain alphanumeric character, just like in this particular order. Variable names can are case sensitive. Case sensitive means when you are using variable in one place, use either small letter and be consistent with that small letter, or if you are using capital letter, you must be consistent with it. Because if you use small letter and you are printing out, you are asking it to print out capital letter, it's going to bring an error just because you are not consistent. So it's always case sensitive. Then variable can have a short name like x and y, so it depends. You can make it longer. You will see here that names of students is longer than name, and is longer than x, b, a. Different kind of this is different, but when it comes to names of students, it's more longer. So your variable names can be in any length. It can be short and it can be long. Now I still try to age equals to 25. You can assign a number. Age is also a variable name, and you can see here age starts with capital letter, and when it comes here it starts with small letter. You see when I print it out now, it's telling me that name error, name age is not defined. Just because I use capital letter here and I'm using small letter here, it does not recognize it. It says case sensitive. Be consistent anytime you are writing a program, and this is what is called underscore. So you can easily use underscore as your variable name or letter, but don't forget, don't use number. So if I print it now, you will see that there is no error. But immediately I use number here, number 1 equals to Victor. You see when I print it out, you see cannot assign to literal. Literal also means a variable name. So we call variable literal at times. So we are assigning Victor to 1. Here is telling us that it cannot, just because it's a number. Don't forget about the rules. So don't use number as your variable name. And here number 1 equals to 2. Names of student, you will see here that this is a number and uh this is a string, which is a letter. So if I print it out, okay, it's still the same. Names of student is Victor, then I try to print out names of student. Then here names of student, this also can be in forms of variable name, whereby you start with capital. You see name of student, here you see that instead of putting space, I space them with underscore, because if there is a space in between them, it's going to give error. So I try to use underscore as a space. But here also you can use something like this, name of student. So you start with small letter, capital letter, then the other one will be capital letter also, s will also be capital letter. So you just make them, we call this camel case, and this is underscore. Those are rules we need to follow while coding. So this also ABC, you can see instead of assigning it A equals to this, B equals to this, C is equals to this, we can actually assign everything at a time. But this one is going to take like a positional argument, just like A will be 40, B will be 30, and C will be 20. So if I click on here, you will see that e just pick them like their position, based on their position, just like A is 40, B is 30, and C is 20. And we can see it out now. And also you can see, you can name them one after the other, and you can bring them out at a time, which is item 1 equals to books, item 2 equals to pen, item 3 equals to bag. So print item 1 plus item 2 plus item. And also if you want to bring it out, you can either use plus. Plus means like addition, and this addition work in two way. If you are working with number, is going to add it arithmetically, and if you are working with a text, it's going to concatenate. We call it concatenation when it comes to adding text together. So we want to add this book, pen, and bag. We want them to be on a single line. That's why we are using that. So if I run it now, you see that we see book, pen, and bags. Just for this very first one, which we use plus plus, and this also we use comma comma, also print out the same thing. So plus and comma work the same way when you are working with text type, which is concatenation, like adding them together. And we have two types of variable. We have global variable and we have local variable. These are they are always really defined when we start working with functions. So function in Python, you see whereby there is a global variable and there is a local variable. And also operators in Python, we have different just like the arithmetic operation we are familiar with in our mathematics days. So this like 2 plus 2, which is 4. This are just like addition sign. So we have different kind of arithmetic operators in Python, just like we have them in mathematics. Although some their symbols are kind of different in when we are talking about coding and when we are talking about uh, mathematics. So let's just take note of them when we see them. Now this plus act in arithmetic way, just because these are numbers, we added them to 4, and this just because I put them inside the quotation, it turned their nature to be text type. So if I run it now, is going to give me 22. That is, it add the two together. This is what the best definition of concatenation, bringing two and two together, whereas here it add them just because it's a number. And here num1 equals to 34, num2 equals to, this is also a variable. I'm explaining variable and I'm trying to give so many scenarios whereby you can learn how you can play around with them. So now num1 equals to 34, num2 equals to 30, print num1 plus. So if I print this now, you see just because these are number, it help me to add them together. But if I put this in a quotation, it's just going to, just like the way we see for the first one. Okay, let me just try it. You see that just bring them 34 and 30. So that's what we call concatenation, bringing two different items together. So the operation in Python can be divided in the following categories. We have arithmetic, just like adding two numbers together. We have assignment operator, just like in terms of equals to. I think I've made mention of that. Equals to is assignment operator. We have comparison operator. We have logical operator, identity operator, membership operator, bitwise operator. Then arithmetic operators, we have addition, subtraction, multiplication. These are just what we are familiar with, but the way we just use them in Pythons at times are kind of different. We have division, we have modulus, we have exponential, we have floor division. So this is how you use your addition, which is x equals to 36, y equals to 37, and if I plus x plus y here, I don't need to write my numbers again just because x is my variable name that serves as a container that contain 39, and y a is a container that contain 37. So me just bringing out x plus y together, printing x plus y together will give us 76. And also this is number. I can also use plus in terms of text, which is going to concatenate. Here first name is Abayomi, last name is Abiodun. If I run it now, you see that we have Abayomi, Abiodun, that is bringing those things together. So let's take note of that. Then subtraction, just like in terms of minusing num3 from num1. So num3 is 78 and num1 is 39. So if I run it, that is, it minus 39 from, and we can also cross check by using our mathematics or doing the normal calculation ourselves. So multiplication now, we have num1 2, which is 2, num2 is 40. We can just assign something or probably put this inside this bracket. M equals to m num1 multiplied by num2. So if I just print it now, it multiply 2 times 40. You can see num1 is 2, num2 is 40. M equals to num1 multiplied by num2, which give us, I just print out the m, which is what comprises of the multiplication of these two. Then also name equals to ija, numbers of student equals to 10, print name multiplied by numbers of student. So that is, I want to multiply text with number, and let's see what the result will look like. You can see now that it placed this ija in 10 times, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So that's just like the consequence of working with numbers and text. So I multiply this by this, and this the result I'm able to achieve. So here multiplying 10 times 10, here you see that I'm going to get 100 instead of placing it 10 10 10 10 10 like the way it plays hijan 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 hijan. This happens just because it's text and number, but this happens just because it's just number. Then we have two types of division. We have float division, we have float division. So when we talks about float division, it's just like when there's a division with a decimal point. So if I run this cell now, you see that we divided num2 divided by num1, which is number 1 is 30, num2 is, so once you use a single slash, that shows is a float division. that will result to a decimal point in your division. And when you use double slash for your division, is going to bring an integer. We call this data type integer. Why we call this data type float? Anytime you see a decimal point in any number, that's a float data type. And when you see a result or a number without a decimal point, which is a whole number, that's what we call integer. So take note that a single slash division is float, while a double slash division is integer division or float division. So also this just I'm just trying it out with different example. You can see the point when this a float division, and this double equals to is a float division. It eliminates the plus sign. So now it comes to modulus. What does modulus mean? Modulus in program means remainder of anything. That is, if I'm trying to print 7 divided by 3, so 7 divided by 3 will give me, normal mathematics. But when it comes to modulus, and the sign of modulus is percentage sign. So modulus is just like when I divide 7 by 3, it's not going to give me the division. It's going to only give me what is the remainder, like the remainder part of your division. When you divide 7 by 3, what remain after 3 goes in 7? That's what we're going to see. So let's just try it out by using this example. You can see print 7 modulus 3. It gave us 1. That is, when 3 goes in 7 two times, it remain only 1. So what modulus care about is just the remainder, and they are powerful. We use them in different conditional statements. We are going to get there later. So now print 10 modulus 7. Also, just like an example, it only gives us the remainder part. That is, when 7 goes in 10 and the remainder part is 3. We have exponential. Exponential is just like raised to power. Just like now I want to use 2 exponential 3, that is 2 in 3 places. That's just the way I wrote it here. If I multiply 2 times 2 times 2 gave us 8, and if I use 2 asterisk asterisk, this is the sign for exponential. So if I run it, I got the same answer. So this also 2 asterisk is raised to power, that is 7 raised to power 2, and we can see 79. So operator, this assignment operator is equals to, I've explained that before. And what Python recognize as equals to is double equals to. Anytime we are dealing with equals to in Python, we use double equals to. But when it comes to a single equals to, that's what we call assignment operator. That is, you assign a value to a variable name, and you can see how it's being used. This item assigned to f name. This 70 is assigned to x. And we also have built-in data type, like what I've been saying. We have string, we have integer, we have float, we have so string is just like anything that is text, or probably anything inside a quotation, while integer is just a number without a decimal point. Float is a number with a decimal point. Complex numbers are just numbers that have I and j. And we have also sequential types. We have list, tuples, range. We have mapping types. We have dictionary. We have set. We have boolean. Boolean is just like true or false. The way we work with something like related to that when I was explaining Microsoft Excel. So here string is just like Emmanuel now is a string value, just because it's a text type and it's also inside the quotation mark. Hygiene is a text type. Python is a text type. So if I run this cell, you will see Emmanuel string. You can see class str, which is string, telling us that these are text type. And also 34, if we run this now, 34 is, you can see, is an integer. Any number without a decimal is an integer, and if you put it inside the quotation, it's going to change to str, which is string. Let's take note of that. So when we are talking about number, we have integer, float, we have complex number. and I'm going to display them here. So this is just like 34 without a decimal point is integer, 49.5 is a float, and you can see any number that has like j or probably I, they are complex number. So we can see here that 34 without the decimal is an integer, 49 plus 0.5 is a float, 3.3j is the class is 3 plus 5j is a complex number. And we have also list. List, how can you know list? You can see working with just assigning a variable number, a number to a variable, just like num1 equals to 30, num2 equals to 40, print num1. You can see like this just like value for this, but there's a better way that you can store a lot of value inside a just let me say a container. Look at now, this inside this square bracket we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So we have all this value inside this square bracket here, and the only thing we can see here is that you can see instead of using one value, we put everything down, and if I run it now, it give me all I want. You can see even names, we have Miracle, Oluwaseun, Victor, Emmanuel, Oyindamola, and checking their class is list. So how can you recognize a list? A list is any value inside a square bracket. So anytime you see a square bracket, that shows you are working with list. So don't forget about that. So anytime, and it can take a text type, it can take a number, and it can take a whole number without a decimal, it can take a number with decimal, and miracle, you can see all these ones are text types and is able to print them. Anything inside a square bracket is called a list. And also tuple is another data type. So if I run this now, you will see class tuple, class tuples. What make tuples different from list? You will see when the time we are working with list are something inside a square bracket, but now it's something inside a parenthesis that is just a bracket. That's what make them that's one, although they have different things that make them, they have a lot of point that make them different. But the first thing is anything inside a square bracket is a list, while anything inside a normal bracket which is a parenthesis is called tuple. And you can see it here. It can also take text types and number type too. You can see miracle, this is just like a repetition. And this also work like range. Range is also a type. You see range 1 to 10, and this range is also powerful when we start working with loop. We are going to see how you can use them very well. So just like now, this is just like an example of loop. If I run this, you see I'm able to get a range between 1 to 19. You can see now 1 to 19. So that's the function of range, providing a value. We just place where it will start, which is 1, and where it's supposed to stop. But this stop, you are going to always minus 1 from it. That's why it did not give us 20 exactly. So, and dictionary too, this is just like a mapping type. That is, you map a key with a value. This is a value, this is a key. So anything inside a curly braces whereby there is a there's a column that separates a keys and a value. So this is what we call a dictionary. And set also is something inside, just like set. Let me just come here. Set is also something inside a curly braces, but it does not follow the rules of keys and value. That is just like this is just like keys and value, keys and value. This is value and this keys, but here is just normal number. It can be normal number, it can be normal text type, but it will also be in a what is it called? Curly braces, curly braces. So, and one of the advantages of this is it eliminates duplicates. Most of the time when we are talking about data analysis, we talk more about duplicates. So set help us to eliminate duplicates. That is, it's going to remove repeated value. So look at here, we have 1 to 1 1, but here you can only see 1. It has eliminated all the other ones, and this is just anywhere you can see 5 is also repeated, but here you cannot see them. So set help us to eliminate duplicates, and this is how you represent them. And boolean 2 is true or false. We did something like this using Excel. Print 2 equals to 2. It's going to tell you if 2 is also equals to 2, which is true. Is 2 greater than 3? It's going to tell us that it's false. 2 is not greater than 3. So we just use boolean just for true or false uh, scenario. So is 4 less than 5? If I run it now, it tell me that it's true. Then the last part is typecasting. So most of the time those particular value can have their own data type themselves, and you can probably want to cast it. Okay, what is casting? You may really want a value to be, okay, this an integer, I want it to be a float, or probably a value has automatically turned to a string value, and you want to bring them back to their normal data type. So how can you do that? That's what typecasting means. So here we have n equals to 20.78, which is here the data type here is integer. No, the data type here is a float, just because there is a decimal point, and print type n. So if I print type n now, you see that it give me that is a float, just because there is a decimal point. And here I can cast this float to be integer by using integer in front of this particular value. So if I run it now, you will see that the point here was eliminated and the data type here is now integer, just because I've cast this value to be integer. So that's what an example of or typecasting. So here also we have integer. So I'm casting this float to be integer, I'm casting this float to be integer, I'm casting this has automatically turned to string just because it's inside a quotation. I'm casting it to be integer too. So if I run it now, you see everything turned to integer. This 20.78 here, it has turned to 20, 48.8 has turned to 48, 55, which has turned to string here, has also turned to integer. And we have float. If I run it now, you will see putting float here has turned this integer to be float, that is adding another point, decimal point. And also this is already float already, so we are just casting it to be that. And look at this, is a string and we are casting it to be float, so it had a decimal point. And also this is the last part, which is string. So we can cast all these value to be string also, putting string str in front of them. That's what we are casting them to be a string value, and you can see the output str. So that's all I have for this class. And let me just run, okay, this. So if we run this 20 and run this, use this. So if I try to add them, you see that the, and if I remove this to see the value, let me see the value, you will see instead of adding 20 plus 48, just bring them 20 48. So that means that the data type has changed to a string value. It's not adding them, it's only bringing them together. So this is all I have for this lesson. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.